It's a pleasure to be here. So I think I feel very nervous to speak in front of Dr. Mitta and KM Sharif. KM Sharif was my first boss. So that's how I remember him forever. But the other thing which struck me was whenever I go to an event where there's a lot of venture capitalists, two things strike me. First, I feel like legacy, right? And when you talk about, and secondly, I feel that the whole world is dominated by lots and lots of different kinds of businesses. So let me tell you the story about how MindTree started and how we benefited from the VC funding. And the story goes back to 19 years back, exactly 19 years back, when a bunch of us felt, there's an opportunity to do something very different. Can we attempt something, leave our cushy, nice jobs? But obviously we were, we were short of cash, we need money. So that's when we got support from the venture capitalists. And I think way back in 1998 when MindTree was conceived, and we opened for business in 1999, we took all of $9.5 million of funding. Interestingly, I also make this statement, when the speaker before me talked about unicorns and success and failures. We also believe, you need a little bit of luck to succeed. Very few people admit it, but I'll be the first guy to admit it, and I'll tell you the MindTree story again. As we started off with VC funding, and I'll come back later to talk about the biggest fight that we had with the VCs. It's very interesting. As we started to learn to walk as a company like a baby, multiple things happened. First of all, the dot-com bust happened in 2000, and we were working with a lot of dot-coms. And as we were trying to figure out how to get out of this, September 11th happened. And it's very interesting because, obviously we were not making money. We were burning cash, though we are a services company, because we had invested in a whole lot of things. And that's where I believe luck played a role. When we started this journey of taking our second round of funding around that time, around early 2001, the money hit our bank in August of 2001. Just imagine if it was delayed by 1 month. I wouldn't be here speaking. I don't know where would I have been, but I wouldn't be here speaking. So sometimes, these things play a very important role as well. But I'll just go back to the story of the most interesting discussions that we had with the venture capitalist. I think we had two things that we wanted from our venture capitalists other than the money. Other than the money, the connections and the introductions. One is actually, we said, if you look at exit as an option, and if you want us to go public, you should not put pressure on us till we reach $100 million in revenues. And I think that was important for us because we felt you need to have a critical size of business, critical revenues, critical base of customers, should we make money before you go out to the public and take money. And I think that became a very important aspect in our conversations with the venture capitalists. And some people didn't like it, and probably they were not with us as well. The second one is also interesting because we also felt, as we are building this organization from scratch, we wanted to reserve 16.6% of our stocks for employees. And I think the VCs felt we were mad. And I think these two became a very important in our scheme of things. And we had very supportive VCs, to be fair. I mean, they after a lot of discussion, they agreed to that. And I think now, if you look back 19 years later, obviously we have created significant wealth for the VCs. One of the VCs exited, the other VC is still heavily invested in MindTree. I think this year, touch wood, we may be close to $1 billion in revenues with a market cap of maybe 2.8 or $2.9 billion. But I think more important, I think we also have created great opportunities for many people, including some of the MindTree minds also become budding entrepreneurs, because they have seen that, it's possible with the right kind of support that you can get, very ordinary people can make extraordinary things. And I think that's a message we keep giving to our people. And we actually actively encourage, if any MindTree mind wants to leave and do a startup, but we are not in the funding business. That's not something we do, but we encourage them, support them, or tell them you have a bad idea, whichever way it is. So I think it's very good to see a very thriving ecosystem where entrepreneurs come together, come up with different ideas. There's an active angel funding. There's a very vibrant VC community. And I think this bodes well for the country, in my belief. It still has some way to go in terms of maturity, but I think by having many people participate, not necessarily in millions, but I think even a few thousands participating in this ecosystem, I think it will make it much more successful. So very, very happy to be here, and congratulations to the team which has formed, and I know they will see stupendous success in the months and years to come. Thank you.